our way down onto our backs. If you've never attended my classes before, I like to start and end like this. Just laying down all the way comfortably. So give yourself a few good breaths just to start connecting with that breath. It's important in Yogilates to use the breath the whole time. That's how we feed our muscles the oxygen that they need to be very healthy, to be very strong for us. And so in Yogilates, usually we inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. And so take a few rounds of that. The inhale through the nose helps to purify the oxygen, taking out any of the gunk that may be there. And then the exhale out the mouth is just a quick way to release that carbon dioxide, helping to prepare ourselves for a little bit more. So let's just take a few more rounds like that. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. And as we continue just a few more rounds of that, I also like to start us off with an intention each class. So the intention for today is simply to be here with our body and to be giving our body good strength, good health, because we arrived today. So a nice overall fitness, touching on all the different muscle groups all over, and just loving our body all along the journey. If anything feels too hard, if at any point you need a break, I give you that complete permission to take those little breaks so that our body is happy and feeling good. We're enjoying those endorphins as we go through this whole journey. And so with this intention set in our mind to help carry us onward, let's begin some of our physical stuff. We'll start off with our knees coming into the chest, hands go around the knees, and just rock around for a moment, left and right. Just nice and comfortable on that sacrum. I like to do this every day just to get it started, to make sure that sacrum feels good. We're not doing too much. Good. And then from here, the first thing that we'll start off with today is extending the legs up to the sky. The hands go off the floor, or my personal preference is to even tuck the thumbs under the hips a little bit. And the way that we do this is we simply lower the legs down and raise them back up. Now, check in with your low back. You never want to arch that low back off the ground. So we're only lowering to the point where that low back is completely solid on the ground still. And then exhale, bring the legs back up. So you can go faster than me, you can go slower, but it's just that simple process. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Bend the knees. Place a hand back on each knee and start those little leg circles once again. Nice little movements helping that low back out. If at any point they need to go a little bit wider to help out, that's great. That's part of where this Yogilates is extremely helpful, because in Yogilates we take those exercises and then we also get the chance to just stretch it out afterwards. Good. So from here, let this left leg go long onto the ground. Our right leg stretches up to the sky, and we grab onto the back side of that leg. So we're holding here just for a moment to just stretch it out. So this means the head can be nice and relaxed on the ground, no pressure. the hands walk a little bit higher up the leg, let the head lift up. We're trying to pull the knee in a little bit closer to the head. Good, and then from here, we're gonna start adding in some leg switches. So with an exhale, we switch the left leg to be in our hands. Exhale, switch back to the right leg. Just a nice exhale, switch every single time. If the neck gets tired, you are welcome to simply drop the head back down. That's fine for this one. Head up sometimes helps us to lift the shoulders and use the core just a little bit more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay with the left leg up. Relax the head back down. We're in a stretch. Try to keep the knee straightening. That's one way to get even deeper in that stretch. And then we're gonna take the same leg switches. On this side, you have an additional option if you'd like to take it, and that is to not use the hands, to let the hands hover above the ground. If you're doing that variation, it's the muscular strength of the legs that's doing the switches. If you use the hands, that's a great variation. We just felt that as well. So if you're ready, right leg hovers above the ground, and then exhale, switch, exhale, switch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Take the knees in again for just a moment, rocking them around. And then both legs start to stretch up to the sky. Our feet are flexing toward us, and then our fingertips are reaching upward. So with an exhale, we're going to try to touch the toes if possible. Inhale back down. If you can't do the touch, that's okay. This simple action of lifting the upper back off the ground is what we're going for. Remember, exhale when you rise up, inhale down. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. By this point, go ahead and drop the knees down. Our core is really alive from all those things back to back to back. And so let's start to move on to some new muscle groups. With the feet planted on the ground, the hands are next to our hips. And let's start to do bridge pose. So inhale, lift up the tailbone, and then the hips. And then one vertebrae at a time rises up to a nice high bridge pose. Exhale, roll back down one at a time. Inhale. Exhale. And this is simply the speed of your breath. If you're faster or slower than me, that's okay. Really make sure that you're pressing down one at a time. Rather than the whole thing solidly lifting, we're undulating our spine. Let's take 3 more. 2, And with the last one, stay lifted in bridge pose. So we're lifting up nice and high, staying here. And then our hips are going to do little tiny pulses. It's about an inch up and an inch down. We're gonna go for 10 of those. So when you're ready, going up 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Set the glutes down. Stretch the right leg back up to the sky for a moment. And then cross the right ankle up onto the left side. Once you're there, hands hug around the left side. That set up a nice kind of triangle shape that you were grabbing onto. We're reaching in between the legs. This gives us a nice chance to open up that hip in a really good way. And from here, set the right foot back down to the ground. Left leg gets another chance, stretching all the way upright. Left ankle onto right thigh, hands hug around the right side. Good. So as we start to release the legs, we're going to head into our obliques from here. So the legs start off straight up to the sky. The arms need to spread out to the left and to the right. This helps to ground our upper body by spreading that out and keeping the hands solidly on the ground. So from here, let yourself tilt the legs not very far, maybe 2 or 3 feet past the midline, over to the right side, 2 or 3 feet over to the left side. So we're starting off with a very small motion. We'll gradually increase this. I'll show you how we're adding in the difficulty, but almost like just a tick-tock of a grandfather clock. Just gently back and forth right now. You can feel some of the oblique muscles already starting to get used to make sure you don't go too far. So then what we're gonna do from here is bend the knees, tilt even further with bent knees, and then the legs straighten out to that side. Bend them again, twist over to the other side, straighten and bend. Going over to the right, straighten and bend. Over to the left, straighten, bend. In this variation, we're having to hold at that really deep level, and that's what makes those obliques stronger. Exhale every time we extend those toes out. 3 more to each side. Two. And 1. Good. Then the knees can remain bent, and simply let the knees fall into a nice twist over to the left side. Knees back up and over to the right side. Okay, from here, continue to go onto the right side body. We start off here with our body in a long straight line, but then we tuck the legs in just a little bit. So it's more like the shape of a banana, the legs slightly forward than the rest of the body. I personally like to support my head like this, But if it gets tiring for your wrist at all, you can also rest the head down on the upper arm. The important thing though is to have that left arm in front of you, very solidly pressing into the ground so that we're not shifting shoulders forward and backward constantly. We're trying to keep our upper body extremely solid. And so from here, rotate the top thigh upward. We're gonna do a quick exhale with the leg quickly kicking up to the sky. Inhale, slow, lower. So going for 9 more of those. Exhale up, inhale, slow. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, lower down, take a break for a moment. If we overuse the side of the thigh, it'll get sore really quick. So just giving it a few more breaths. Okay, now top leg lifts up, level with the hip, and we do some nice small leg circles. Imagine tracing a tennis ball. So pick one direction, going for 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest down for a moment. From here, continue to bend the knees, sliding it into much more of a bent position. And then we're going to imagine that our top knee is like a clamshell opening and closing. So find the hinge at the hip and the other hinge is at the toes. So with our inhale, we resist the way we're moving through molasses, really thick mud. And then exhale, slowly press it together like you're trying to squeeze all that molasses out of the clamshell. Good, repeating 9. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now press the hands into the ground. Our feet are still tucked in. The left hand grabs onto those ankles. The right hand circles up and over. You get a good side body stretch. Awesome. Rising back up, switch the legs around to the other side and go all the way to laying down. Setting up for that banana. The legs are in the straight line as our body, and then we tuck them in just a little bit. Top thigh rotates up. These are the 10 quick kicks up to the sky and slow lowers down with the inhale. Remember, right hand is here solidly keeping our torso in place. So when you're ready, going for 10, exhale quick. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Resting it down for just a moment. And then top leg hovers level with the hip. Tennis ball circles, 10 to each direction. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release it down. Even let the knees bend, starting to slide them in. A nice little break. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of pound out that top hip as it's taking its little break. Okay, if you're ready, clamshells. Going for 10. Create your own resistance. Lifting the top knee up and then squeezing it down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Press into the hands, coming up to this partially seated place, and then circle the left hand up and over. When we rise back up, let's take a little break for those thighs and hips again, heading into a nice cobbler's pose. Bottoms of the feet are together. We at least want the hips to be tilted forward or upright. If they start to round back, what I want you to do instead is to keep your hands planted behind you so you can at least be at this nice tall lifted place. And sometimes it's nice just to choose that option because then it lets the hips open like a hardcover book. But if it's easy to reach forward, easy to be tall, let's start to tilt our long spine forward. And then when you reach that spot where your spine doesn't want to stay long anymore, then you're welcome to simply round down. Rolling back up to a nice seated place. We're gonna work on some of our stabilizing muscles, the muscles that help us balance on our hips. And so what we're going to do is start pointing the toes, lifting the knees up just kind of on their own. And I'm gonna grab for my ankles. If that's difficult when we get into the shape, you can also just grab onto, the front of the foot, grab onto the shins, whatever. I'm going for kind of like the ankle or even the heel area. So from here, lean back just a little bit to balance. And then the right leg starts to reach out to a long angle and then starts to come back. We're trying to remain in balance with our torso the whole time. And then the left leg tries to stretch out and back. And notice how we're getting both into flexibility and into that balancing with the core all at the same time. Let's take 3 more to each side. 2. And last one to each side. Now a little challenge when you finish the last one. See if you can open both legs up at the same time and still maintain balance. If you roll out for a second, nothing wrong. This is kind of tricky. And then see if you can take both legs together, perhaps still holding on to the legs. Good. And then bring the hands behind you on the floor. Not too much, just little tiny inches. We lower the legs down and up. Making it easier would be bending the knees. Just down and up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. That one's really hard. Legs long. Sit up tall. A nice inhale. Exhale, just stretch over both of your legs. Starting to sit back up, plant the feet in front of you and hands plant right behind you. We're gonna do some tricep dips. So we lift the hips up and then the elbows bend and the elbows press us back up. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Resting down, shake the hands out. Even let the right arm cross over the body and just hug it in for a moment. A nice shoulder stretch. Sometimes when I'm getting into the right shoulder, I also like to tilt the head to the left because then the right part of the neck even gets a nice stretch. Good, opening back up, and then the left arm goes across. Hug around it, and maybe the right ear drops down. Inhale, open back up. Shake it out. Good. Legs start to reach back forward. Starting from a nice stacked pose, bring your arms out in front of you like a zombie. And with this next pose, it comes in 2 parts. So with the first exhale, we lean partway back. Inhale brings us back up. Then with the second breath, exhale, the arms stretch up overhead. We're trying to sit even taller. And then inhale, arms bring us back to the start. So those 2 parts, 2 breaths with it. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick up the knees. Let's go straight into boat pose. You're welcome to hold onto the knees. This is a good starting position. If you'd like to increase difficulty, take it with me 1 step at a time. If it gets to be too much, that's the step that you pause at. So step 1 would simply be having the toes closer to the ground, grabbing on behind the knees. So step 2 to make it harder would be taking the shins parallel to the floor. Spine still trying to be straight the whole time. 1 level difficult from there would be reaching 1 arm out and then switching. Another level of difficulty is both arms free. The next step would be 1 leg at a time, stretches out. And then the most difficult is legs go straight, trying to hold in this balance. Let's go 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, head back to cobbler. Back to boat pose or even hands planted behind you. We're gonna take bicycles. So one leg circles out and then the other leg circles out. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Heading back down for this cobbler's pose, let your feet go slightly forward. What this does is free up the rest of our spine to get just a slightly deeper stretch through the low back. Okay, one more boat pose. Coming back up, finding our balance. With this time, we try to touch both hands over to the right side. Inhale up, touch both hands to the left side. What this does is it helps us to twist our obliques, twist our core. So really try to feel yourself crunching as far as to the side as you can. So find the balance. Again, toes can be close to the ground or higher, your choice. When you're ready, take an inhale, both arms up. Exhale to one side. 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Amazing. Just let the right leg reach out to a nice long angle. Place one hand on the ground on each side of that leg, and then slide both hands down. A nice stretch toward the right leg. Walk both hands into the middle, and see if the fingertips can reach just slightly longer. Returning up, switch out the legs. One hand on each side of left, and then slide down. And then walk through the middle, reaching long forward. When we rise back up this time, let's give both legs a chance to be stretched out. Try to sit up tall. Again, if you need the hands to prop you up from behind, that's great. Otherwise, perhaps there's that room to start walking forward with both arms and both legs wide. See if you can straighten the low back just a little bit, and then release even an inch deeper. Good work. Let's walk back up, and we're coming down onto our bellies. So the first part that we're working here is about the upper body. So really glue the legs to the ground. Imagine they cannot have the ability to lift up at all. The hands are on the floor under the shoulders, and then we lift them up an inch. This is where they hover the whole time. From here, we do little tiny pulses, trying to lift the shoulders, the head, and as much of the chest off the ground as possible. And then exhale, lower back down. Inhale with a lift. Exhale to lower. Here's 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Now from here, leave the hands down, perhaps set the chin down, and then we're going to do the same thing with the legs. This time though, with the legs, once they lift up, we will clap them together, let them go wide, and then drop them down wide. So it's lift up wide, clap together, separate, and then lower. So 10 of those. Resting the chin, resting the arms, those will no longer lift. Inhale, legs up, clap, open, and down. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Rest one cheek down. Just enjoy a couple of breaths. Start to slide both arms long, one to the left, one to the right. And then we're gonna go for 10 airplane lifts. So all we do is simply lift the arms and the legs up together and then lower them down. So let the chin come back to a nice neutral place. Here we're inhaling for 10 and down. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Rest your other cheek down. Sliding the hands into the shoulders. Shift your hips all the way back into a nice child pose. Hips sitting on the feet, arms stretching forward. Rest the forehead down. Coming up onto hands and knees, we're going to let the right leg reach all the way back and the left arm forward. So opposites are balancing here. This right here, just trying to balance, could be enough work for you. So no need to go further if this is plenty. If you'd still like more, with our exhale, we touch the elbow and knee together. Inhale, stretch out and even lift a little. So here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rest it down. Wag your tail out so you let your hips just kind of rock left and right. Loosening up some of the tightness through that core. And then let's start playing the second side. So left leg and right arm. Remember, you're welcome to just hold the balance. Otherwise, exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Dropping it down. This one, do hip circles. So we circle the hips as wide as we can clockwise, and then as wide as we can counterclockwise. Coming to stillness, take a nice cat, rounding the vertebrae up to the sky. And a cow, drop the belly down, gaze up. Another cat. And a cow. Good. So when it gets towards the end of the Yogilates classes, we always take extra time to do next and lots of stretches before we wrap up with our final Shavasana, the resting pose. And so this will be our last hard one of the day. We're doing it from an elbow plank position. So elbows are down on the ground. Know that you're always welcome to have the knees down if needed. Otherwise, lifting the toes up will be that way to make it a little bit more difficult on the core. Once you're in your elbow plank, so the thing that we're going to do today is lift one elbow up to the sky, drop it down, lift the second elbow up, and drop it down. We're gonna try to go for 10 to each side, so that's 20 total. If you need to take breaks, see if you can join back in as soon as you can. This is our last hard thing of the day. So set up your position. And here is 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Awesome. You've earned another child pose. Just get to sit back for a moment. Okay, we're heading up into a downward facing dog. This one's not so much stressing about the form as trying to focus on getting the legs to move and stretch around. So plant the hands, tuck the toes, start to lift the hips up high, and just wiggle the legs around in ways that feel really good, really helpful. What I like about down dog is I can drop my heels closer to the ground, and that helps me get into the calves and into the Achilles tendons, some of those nice deep areas that need it so badly. Good, start to lift the right leg all the way up to the sky and step the right foot in between the hands. Once you're there, drop the back knee down, walk the hands up to the thigh, and then start pressing the hips forward. We're trying to imagine getting a straight line from one kneecap clear down to the other. Good, now shift the hips over the back knee. Let the front leg go straight and drop the hands down so we get that nice hamstring stretch. Good. Start to take this leg back and then lift back up to downward facing dog. Nice and high. Left leg floats all the way up to the sky. Step that foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee down. The hands can work their way up onto the thigh. Remember, hips sink forward for this one. We should be stretching the front of the right side. Good. Hips are over the back knee, front leg goes straight. Drop the hands down. Okay, when we bring the leg back this time, come all the way down to a seated place. Swinging the legs out in front of you. And let's begin to cradle out this right leg. So hand is welcome to be on the foot and on the knee, or sometimes people can slide up a little bit closer to the wrist or the forearm or the elbow. So you get to choose how deep you're wrapping. With this baby cradle, try to straighten the spine up and even lift the toes up like the toes are the head of the baby. Once we're in this posture, start to rock the hip left and right. This gets deep into some of those muscle joints that need this extra movement, the mobility, the stretching. Good. Once that feels pretty happy, let's allow both shins to stack. The hands drop onto the floor again, and let's walk forward. Some people can go far, some people not so much. It just depends on how tight your glutes are. Okay, rising back up, let's baby cradle the second one out. Left shin gets brought in. Maybe we're using hands, maybe we're going deeper. Check in with the spine, check in with the toes, and rock it out. Good, dropping the shin down on top of the other. Posture tall. Start making our way forward. Coming down onto our backs from here. Lower all the way down. Keep both feet planted for a moment and let both knees fall over to the right and over to the left. Just a few nice windshield wipers, loosening up that low back once again. Taking the knees into the chest. Either do those same circles that we started off with, or take a happy baby pose, grabbing onto outside edges of feet. The feet then rise up to the sky. We can rock around here. I like to rock as I straighten one leg up and then the other. So these are just simple last movements that help our body feel like we've come to a nice complete state in our practice. And when you feel good, we'll head to our Shavasana pose, that nice restful ending place. You can have the legs long on the ground like we started off with. Sometimes in Yogilates, our low back can get aggravated just by working so much. And so it can be nice just to keep the feet planted and let the knees fall into one another so there's no muscular effort required. So if that variation feels amazing today, take it, nothing wrong with that. And we've got a few minutes here just to simply breathe and relax. This is our chance to let our body integrate all the benefits of the practice we just had. If we immediately jump up and just go on to the rest of our day, our body kind of doesn't know what mode we're in. It doesn't know how to transition to the next thing very efficiently. And so this is a good steady pause and reset so that when we're in a few minutes, when we rise back up, we're ready to face our day with strength, with diligence, and with patience. So simply let yourself breathe as your body absorbs and integrates all of the benefits of our practice we just had. Begin to deepen the inhales and the exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually rolling over to a nice fetal position on one side. Maybe take 3 or 4 more breaths until we rise up to a comfortable seated place. As we arise, we can join hands together in front of the heart. And just briefly connect back with our intention, being with our body, loving it, and so giving it hard things, just like we did today. And so with this intention of greater health, greater wellness, greater self-love and self-care to help lead us onward, let's wrap up this time we got to share together with a sound of Om. Taking a good inhale together now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste. Do you like to do your yoga classes in style? This chakra balancing meditator t-shirt is available in our Etsy shop. The link is in the description below. Namaste.